Let me share something with you that most people never pause to consider. The world you experience every day is not something happening to you, it's something happening as you. I'm not talking about the events themselves, the weather or the traffic, but the experience you're having of those events. Consider this. Every moment, you are swimming in a sea of your own assumptions, beliefs, and expectations, and these shape not just your mood or your attitude, but the very reality you walk through. It's like wearing colored glasses you forgot you put on. You see the world through them, believe it's just the way things are, and never notice the tint. Here's what most people don't realize. You are not a tiny observer in a big, indifferent universe. You are the very center of your experience, and everything you meet is filtered through what you take for granted about yourself and about life. It feels like things are separate, like there's a you in here and a world out there. But this separation is the root illusion, and it's what makes life feel heavy, urgent, and serious. The moment you start to see that the line between you and the world is drawn by your own mind, everything begins to lighten. You don't have to keep life on your shoulders. You don't have to treat it as a problem to solve. You can relax, you can enjoy. But to do that, you have to see what's really happening, not just react to the surface of things. So let's look closely at how this illusion of separation, this seriousness, takes hold and how you can let it go. Think about this. From the time you were very small, you were taught that you are one thing and the world is something else. You were given a name. You were told, this is your body, those are your thoughts, that is your life. Then, everything else was made to seem outside, other people, nature, events. You learned to protect this separate you, to defend it, to improve it, to worry about it. And so, life became a kind of contest. There's always something to get, something to fix, something to avoid. That's where the seriousness begins. It's not the world that makes you tense. It's not events. It's this persistent assumption that you are a separate self, at risk, in a world that's out to get you or judge you or ignore you. Here's what's really happening. You're not a separate thing at all. You're part of one continuous movement, one flow. The same energy that grows an oak tree moves your thoughts. The same intelligence that forms the stars forms your desires. The moment you begin to question this habit of taking yourself as separate, the pressure starts to dissolve. You don't have to fight life. You can let it move through you. You can see the play, the dance, instead of the struggle. Let me explain what's really happening when you feel tension, seriousness, or anxiety. Almost always, it's because you're resisting the flow of life, trying to force things to go a certain way, trying to hold on to how you believe things should be. You're comparing what's happening now with what you wish were happening, and you're caught in that gap. Now, here's the paradox. The more you try to control life, the more out of control you feel. It's not because you're weak or bad at it, it's because life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. Consider this. A river doesn't struggle to flow. It isn't sitting there thinking, how am I going to get around this rock? It just moves, adapts, finds its way. The river is not separate from its banks, from the water, from the rain that feeds it. It's all one process. You, too, are a process, not a thing. The seriousness comes when you forget that. When you believe you have to manage everything, you tighten up. Life becomes a burden. The moment you let go, even a little, you discover something remarkable. Life moves through you. Events happen, but you don't have to be at war with them. You don't have to take them so personally. You can relax your grip and watch what unfolds. Here's what most people don't realize. The mind is always making assumptions about what's possible, about what's safe, about what's likely. And these assumptions become invisible rules. You don't see them, but you live inside them. If you assume that life is a struggle, you will find struggle everywhere. If you assume people are out to get you, you'll see evidence of that in every glance. If you assume you have to prove yourself, you'll never feel enough. It's not just a matter of thoughts, it's a matter of identity. You think, I am someone who has to achieve, who has to defend, who has to be on guard. And so, your reality mirrors that belief. Outer results follow inner belief, not the other way around. The world reflects back to you what you take to be true. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change before you relax. You don't have to wait to be safe before you enjoy. The moment you change your assumption, the tone of your experience changes. Try it. For a moment, drop the idea that life is a test. Drop the idea that you are under threat. Notice how your body softens, how your mind clears. This is not just a trick of psychology. This is a deep truth about how reality works. Consider this. Every day, without realizing it, you are telling yourself a story about who you are and what life is. This story is like a script, and you play your part so well that you forget you're the actor, not just the character. The script might say, I'm someone who has to work hard for everything. I'm someone who always gets overlooked. I'm someone who can't relax until everything is perfect. And then, reality seems to confirm it. You get more of what you expect. This is not magic. It's not superstition. It's basic perception. You filter out anything that doesn't fit your story. You notice and reinforce anything that does. The moment you change your story, even a little, the world seems to shift. Opportunities appear where there were none. People respond differently. You feel lighter. It's not that the world changed first. It's that your assumption changed and your experience followed. This is why people who don't take life so seriously seem to float through obstacles. They're not ignoring reality. They're accepting it. They're moving with the flow rather than fighting it. The seriousness drops away, and what's left is peace. Let me share something with you that may sound strange at first. Peace does not come from solving all your problems. It comes from seeing that you are not the problems. You are the space in which problems come and go. Think about this. When you're caught up in a serious mood, it feels like that's all there is. You forget that moods are like clouds passing through the sky of awareness. The sky is never affected by the weather. You are the awareness, not the cloud. The more you identify with the passing moods, the heavier life feels. The more you rest as awareness itself, the lighter and more playful everything becomes. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to earn peace. You don't have to wait for the world to line up perfectly. You can step back, right now, and notice that you are already the peace you're looking for. The play of life continues, things come and go, but you are the space in which it all happens. The moment you see this, you can relax, you can enjoy. You don't have to take the play so seriously. Let me explain how patterns form in your life and how they can be changed. Every time you react to something with the same old thought, the same old feeling, you're deepening a groove. It's like walking the same path through a field over and over. Eventually, you forget there's any other way. You don't notice that you could step off the path, try something new. Most people are not directing their life. They're reacting, repeating patterns they picked up long ago. These patterns shape your experience, shape what you believe is possible, and shape what actually happens. But here's the thing, the pattern only holds as long as you keep playing your part. The moment you notice the pattern, the moment you see it as just a habit, you have the freedom to choose differently. You don't have to wait for the world to change. The moment you change your response, everything begins to shift. You step off the old path. You discover new ground. Life starts to feel lighter, more open, more spontaneous, because you are no longer trapped in the seriousness of your history. Consider this. The urge to take life seriously comes from the belief that you must control the outcome. You think, if I don't worry, if I don't push, if I don't plan every detail, things will fall apart. But look at nature. The tree does not strain to grow. The bird does not plan its song. There is a deep intelligence at work that is far greater than the personal mind. You are part of that intelligence, not separate from it. The more you trust the flow, the more life works out, often in ways you could never have planned. Spontaneity is not recklessness. It's a kind of trust, a willingness to move with life instead of against it. The paradox is that the moment you let go of control, things begin to fall into place. You find what you need, you meet the right people, you stumble into opportunities. This doesn't mean you become passive or lazy. It means you act from a place of peace, not panic. You choose rather than react. You move with the current, not against it. That's when you begin to experience real peace. Think about this. Most people live their lives waiting for the weekend, waiting for the next holiday, waiting for things to get better. But waiting is just another form of resistance. It says, this moment is not enough. I am not enough. Something has to change before I can relax, before I can enjoy. That's the seriousness at work. The moment you stop waiting and start deciding, everything changes. You don't postpone your peace. You don't delay your joy. You claim it now, in the midst of whatever is happening. This is not denial. It's not pretending problems don't exist. It's seeing that you are always free to choose your response. You can decide to bring relaxation, to bring enjoyment, to bring curiosity to any moment, no matter the circumstances. The outer world doesn't have to change first. The change happens in you, and the world reflects it back. When you move from waiting to deciding, you reclaim your power. You become the author, not just the character. Life becomes lighter, more playful. The seriousness fades. Let me share a simple metaphor. Imagine for a moment that life is like a great theatre. There's a stage, there are actors, there's a script, and there's an audience. Most people are so identified with their role that they forget they are also the actor, and even the director. You get so caught up in the drama that you forget it's a play. You take the story to be absolutely real, absolutely urgent. But the moment you remember, this is a play, you can relax. You can improvise. You can enjoy your part, even when things seem serious on the surface. The play doesn't stop. The story continues, but your relationship to it changes. You're free to respond creatively, spontaneously. You don't have to stick to the old script. You can try new lines, new ways of being. The seriousness drops away, and what's left is a sense of lightness, of playfulness. You're still engaged, but you're no longer trapped. You see the paradox. You can care deeply and yet not be consumed by worry. You can play your part fully and yet know it's just a part. Let me explain how awareness changes everything. The moment you notice what you're assuming, you gain freedom from it. Awareness brings choice. If you're feeling serious, tense, or anxious, ask yourself, what am I assuming right now? Are you assuming you have to control everything? Are you assuming you're at risk? Are you assuming you can't relax until things are perfect? The moment you see the assumption, it loosens its grip. You don't have to fight it. You just have to see it clearly. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. The shadows disappear. not because you chase them away, but because you see what's really there. Most people try to change their experience by fighting their thoughts or forcing themselves to be positive. That's just more seriousness. Instead, notice what you're believing, what you're taking for granted, and let it be. Don't react, just see. In that seeing, the pattern loses its power. You are free to choose differently. You are free to relax. You are free to enjoy. Think about this. The play of life is full of paradoxes. The more you try to hold on, the more things slip through your fingers. The more you chase peace, the more elusive it becomes. The moment you let go, the moment you allow things to be as they are, peace enters naturally. This is not passivity. It's not giving up. It's the deepest kind of engagement. You are present, open, available to life as it is. You are not caught in the seriousness of needing things to be different. You see the flow, you trust the process. Life becomes a dance, not a battle. You move with the music, not against it. There's a kind of humor in it all, a cosmic joke. You see how seriously you took things, how much you suffered over nothing. And in that seeing, there's freedom. You can laugh, you can breathe, you can enjoy. The paradox is that the less you try to be in control, the more at ease you feel, and the more things seem to fall into place. Let me share something about identity. You're always assuming something about who you are. Most people walk around with the silent belief, I am someone who must worry, must perform, must achieve, must defend. These beliefs are like invisible scripts running in the background. But what if you tried on a new identity? What if, just for a moment, you assumed, I am someone who is at peace. I am someone who trusts the flow. I am someone who enjoys life as it comes. When you do this, reality begins to reflect it. You see opportunities instead of threats. You notice beauty instead of problems. Outer results follow inner belief. It doesn't mean you never face challenges. It means you meet them differently. You are not the victim of circumstances. You're the author of your experience. Seriousness comes from forgetting this. Peace comes from remembering. Consider this. Every assumption you make about life is a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect things to be hard, they become hard. If you expect people to disappoint you, you find disappointment. But if you expect life to be playful, if you expect things to work out, you find evidence of that too. This is not wishful thinking. It's not denial. It's the simple fact that your attention, your focus, your energy shape what you notice and how you respond. The world is not fixed and unchanging. It's fluid, responsive, alive. The moment you shift your assumption, the world shifts with you. You don't have to wait for proof. You don't have to wait for permission. You can begin now, in this moment. Try assuming that life is friendly. Try assuming that peace is your natural state. Notice how everything starts to look different. The seriousness fades. The playfulness returns. You don't have to force it. You just have to allow it. Let me explain what's really happening when you stop taking life so seriously. You become available to life. You notice things you never saw before. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of repeat. You are not weighed down by the past, not anxious about the future. You are here, present, open. This is not something you have to achieve. It's something you allow. It's always available, just beneath the surface of your assumptions. When you relax, when you enjoy, you are not ignoring reality. You are seeing it more clearly. You are seeing the play, the dance, the flow. You are seeing yourself as part of the whole, not separate, not against, but with. This is peace. This is freedom. This is the natural state you return to when you let go of seriousness. So think about this as you go about your life. Reality reflects what you consistently accept as true about yourself and your world. Every moment, you are shaping your experience by what you believe, what you expect, what you assume. Most people are reacting to life, repeating old patterns, stuck in seriousness. But you can choose differently. You can direct your experience deliberately. You can let go of the illusion of separation. You can trust the flow. You can relax. You can enjoy. Test this for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Notice what happens when you shift your assumption, when you drop the seriousness, when you allow peace. Reality will meet you there. Remain consistent, stay open, and watch as everything begins to change.